Pre-dawn light bleeds amber across FOB Chimera as Nyrie Kesler feeds M230 30mm rounds into the Apache's chin gun. Her movements flow like practiced liturgy, deliberate, economical, perfect. The desert air carries aviation fuel and distant dust promises. Unlike paired maintenance crews trading weekend stories, Nyrie works alone. Her cap shadows blonde hair, cropped regulation short, her breathing measured in perpetual counting rhythm. Day 194 of Operation Long Watch. Not that anyone knows she's counting. Her fingers trace ammunition links, with precision exceeding standard protocol. Each round seated perfectly, spacing exact. Intelligence gathering takes many forms. Being forgettable tops the list. Who's the solo act? A fresh-faced private nods toward her workstation. Uniform still holding factory creases. Kesler, been here since dust settled, replies Sergeant Mills. Weird one. Does triple work though. Nyrie catalogs the exchange like all others. 3 years of cultivated invisibility, 3 years of being general nobody, to anyone bothering with nicknames. Captain Axel Blackwood approaches, clipboard clutched like a weapon. His boots strike tarmac with excessive authority. Kesler, Hangar 3 needs attention. New kid botched Hydra alignment on Apache 2. She nods without looking up. Yes, sir. And supply wants yesterday's maintenance log. Should have been submitted already. His voice carries impatience of someone who's never loaded ordnance under fire. Another nod. No protest about additional workload normally requiring 3-person crew. Blackwood moves on, already targeting someone else. 2 mechanics pass by, stage whispering. Morning, General Nobody. The shell casing slips half an inch in her grip. She recovers smoothly, expression unchanged. The irony tastes like cop. Across the flight line, Major Merrick watches through aviator glasses. Squadron leader, demanding standards. Combat proven. Something about her methodical approach has caught his attention. The way she triple checks connections others barely inspect. His co-pilot calls him to briefing. The moment passes. Nyrie continues working, muscle memory from a different life guiding her hands. Day 1, still undetected. The mission endures. Sun climbs higher, transforming the base into heat mirage. She moves to rocket pods, configuring Hydra 70s in a pattern deviating from standard doctrine. High explosive alternating with penetrators, optimal for limestone structures in today's target zone. No one briefed her on mission specifics. She doesn't need briefing. Months of intercepted communications, studied flight patterns, analyzed intel reports. While officially loading ammunition, she's been fighting a shadow war. Unusual configuration. Merrick's voice cuts through engine noise. She looks up, carefully calibrated surprise. Better for target structures, sir. His eyebrow lifts. How would you know about target structures? Heat climbs her neck. The slip could cost everything. Intel bulletins are posted in maintenance, sir. He studies her face. Something shifts behind those aviator lenses. As she reaches overhead to secure ammunition bay, her uniform rides up slightly, just below her lower back. Geometric patterns peek through. Not random ink but precision coordinates and unit markers etched in skin. Merrick freezes mid-sentence. The classified markings from Yemen briefings. Shade program identifiers. Geometric patterns of operators. Officially listed as KIA. Their eyes lock. She gives an almost imperceptible head shake. Not here, not now. For heartbeats stretching like hours. Neither move. Recognition dawns in his expression like slow sunrise. The quiet maintenance tech everyone overlooks. The legend everyone thought was dead. Sir? Her voice carries just enough uncertainty. Merrick backs away, visibly shaken. Carry on. The invisible woman loading his aircraft just became the most dangerous person on base. 3 years earlier, the world mourned Colonel Nyrie Phantom Kesler. Arlington's ceremony drew the Secretary of Defense. 21 guns echoed across sacred ground, where America's finest rest. The woman loading ordnance at FOB Chimera bears little resemblance to that decorated officer. Gone is the command presence that once directed operations across 3 continents. In its place, calculated mediocrity. The transformation required surgical precision, dental work altering bite patterns, subtle cosmetic changes, voice coaching to suppress crisp authority that had once moved mountains. Most challenging, learning to occupy space without commanding it. Her official death in Yemen had been carefully orchestrated. Too many missions compromised. Too many operators killed in supposedly routine insertion. Someone with access to highest classifications was selling American lives. Rather than conventional investigation that might spook the traitor, her superiors chose different approach. Let the world believe Phantom Kesler died heroically. Let her disappear into the most invisible position possible. Maintenance tech at a forward base where classified intel flows like water. For 1,094 days, she's perfected invisibility. She eats alone, bunks solo in quarters others assume she earned through antisocial tendencies. Performs duties with competent efficiency, never quite crossing into exceptional territory. The isolation cuts deeper than enemy fire ever did. In her previous life, she commanded respect, led teams, made decisions shifting battlefield. Here she's treated as barely human, useful equipment requiring no courtesy. Captain Blackwood's dismissive treatment actually serves her cover. His casual contempt means he never looks closely enough to notice inconsistency. The enlisted personnel who mock her as General Nobody provide perfect camouflage, but the mission requires more than invisible observation. Over past 18 months, she's identified patterns, specific operations targeted with intelligence that could only originate from within FOB Chimera. Someone with access to flight plans, ammunition manifests, communication protocols. The breakthrough came 6 months ago. Lieutenant Commander Royce Callahan, visiting intel officer with impeccable credentials and suspicious behavior patterns. His access to secure communication, his unusual interest in specific mission parameters, his habit of encrypted transmissions during off-duty hours. Today's mission will be the test. She's deliberately configured the Apache's loadout in pattern optimal for suspected target zone, information officially not shared with maintenance personnel. If Callahan is the traitor, he'll recognize the significance, make contact with handlers to warn. The base hums with pre-mission activity. Pilots check flight plans, mechanics run diagnostics, intel officers shuttle between command posts with updated threat assessments. Nyrie blends into background, moving helicopter to helicopter. Her trained eye catalogs every detail while her cover persona performs routine tasks. The careful work of 3 years approaches culmination. Soon she'll either confirm suspicions about Callahan, or discover the real traitor remains hidden. Either way, Colonel Nyrie Kesler's long exile in anonymity nears its end. She pauses at Apache 3, checking missile guidance systems. Her reflection stares back from polished sensor dome, a ghost wearing another woman's face. 3 years of being nobody to become somebody again. The irony tastes bitter. Apache engines begin startup sequence. The sound reminds her of Vietnam, Afghanistan. Dozen classified operations where these birds carried her teams into hell and back. Today, they'll carry her closer to justice. Mid-morning heat shimmers across tarmac as Major Merrick approaches her workstation. His shadow falls across her hands like a question mark. She looks up, expression carefully neutral. 3 years of practice in appearing unremarkable. The rocket pod configuration, not accusation, observation. It's specialized. Terrain analysis suggested mixed ordnance. Her voice carries just enough uncertainty to sound appropriately deferential. Merrick's eyebrow lifts. Terrain analysis, that's above maintenance clearance level. Heat climbs her neck. The slip could unravel everything. Intelligence bulletins get posted in maintenance base. I read them. He studies her face with intensity of someone trained to see through deception. Which bulletins specifically? She's walking a tightrope now. Too much knowledge exposes, too little makes her look incompetent. The limestone structure assessment from her shirt catches on protruding bolt as she reaches for overhead ammunition feeds. Just enough to reveal edge of something at her lower back. Geometric patterns, precise line, not random artwork, encoded coordinates and unit identifiers. Merrick freezes, The tattoo, he'd seen those exact markings in classified briefings. Shade, program identification, geometric signature of operators. Officially listed as KIA, after Yemen. His mind flashes to redacted files, mission dossiers. From 4 years ago, a unit whose commander had earned Medal of Honor posthumously. A woman whose tactics were studied in special operations schools. Their eyes lock. Recognition dawns in his expression like sunrise breaking over mountains. The maintenance tech everyone ignored. The woman they called General Nobody. The legend everyone thought was dead. She gives almost imperceptible shake of her head. Not here, not now. For heartbeats stretching like hours. Neither moves. Merrick's mind races through implication. If this is authentic, if she's really who that tattoo suggests, then the quiet woman loading his ammunition is one of most decorated special operators in military history. Stories whispered in classified briefings. Phantom Kesler's exploits, analyzed in advanced tactical course. Her sacrifice in Yemen honored in ceremonies the public would never know existed. Sir, she prompts quietly, voice carefully modulated to sound confused by his sudden silence. Merrick backs away slowly, visibly shaken. Carry on, technician. He turns toward his crew but can't stop glancing back. The invisible woman loading his helicopter just became the most dangerous person on base. As he rejoins his flight team, his co-pilot notices the change. Everything all right, Major? Fine, though his voice carries strain. Just fine. Nyrie continues her work, hyper-aware that her carefully constructed cover is developing fractures. Recognition brings both opportunity and exposure. Merrick's knowledge could prove useful for what's coming, but it also means her time as invisible technician is numbered. She moves to next Apache, checking Hellfire missile mounts with practiced efficiency. 3 years of anonymity about to transform into something far more dangerous. The mission that sustained her through 1,094 days of isolation approaches its critical phase. The luxury of invisibility is about to become liability she can no longer afford. She catches Merrick watching her from across flight line. His expression holds something new. Not dismissal or casual oversight, but respect, even deference. The change terrifies her more than enemy fire ever did. 4 years earlier, Taiz, Yemen. Limestone buildings glow bone-white in pre-dawn light as Lieutenant Colonel Nyrie Kesler leads her shade team through narrow alleys toward extraction. The mission had gone sideways 12 hours ago. Their target relocated. Position compromised. What should have been routine asset recovery became fighting retreat. Phantom, this is Overwatch. Static crackles through her earpiece. Multiple vehicles converging on your position from north. She presses against crumbling masonry. Her 9-person team flowing like water around urban obstacles. They'd been tracking weapons dealer with intelligence on American operations throughout region. Critical intelligence. Lives hanging in balance. Copy. Overwatch. Her voice carries calm that made her legendary. Thermal shows 20+. They know exactly where you are. Through night vision, she spots Major Merrick's team pinned down 2 blocks away. Their extraction bird destroyed by RPG. They were supposed to be her backup. Now they need rescue. Team, we have friendlies in Sector 7. She announces to her operators. We don't leave anyone behind. Captain Rodriguez shakes his head. Colonel, extraction window closes in 20. We can't reach them and make LZ. Nyrie studies her wrist-mounted tactical display. The mathematics are brutal. Attempting rescue will almost certainly result in casualties. Safe play. Proceed to extraction. Report loss of assets. Negative. We get them out. What followed became Special Operations Legend. 40 minutes of urban warfare analyzed in classified after-action reports for years. Nyrie's team moved through Taiz like surgical instruments, each operator functioning as part of perfectly coordinated machine, suppressing fire while advancing by bounds, using terrain advantage, systematically eliminating threats with minimal ammunition expenditure. When they reached Merrick's position, his team was down to final magazines, 2 wounded, preparing for last stand. Who are you? Merrick had asked, as she materialized beside his cover. Your ride home. She immediately took tactical control. Can your wounded walk? Rodriguez took shrapnel to left. Still mobile. Johnson's unconscious, concussion from explosion. Nyrie assessed with cold calculation that kept her alive through dozens of similar scenarios. We carry Johnson. Rodriguez walks, or we all die here.
The extraction became legend. 14 operators through 3 miles of hostile territory, fighting running battle against impossible odds. She personally carried Johnson the final kilometer when Rodriguez's strength failed, never slowing pace, despite additional 160 pounds. At extraction point, their helicopter took heavy fire. Nyrie established defensive perimeter, coordinated covering fire. Last person to board. As they lifted off, RPG detonated against tail boom, uncontrolled spin. Nyrie thrown against aircraft's bulkhead with bone-crushing force. The geometric tattoo completed 2 weeks later, incorporating coordinates of that extraction, and operational codes of every operator she'd saved. Merrick had watched her receive last rites in German military hospital. Injuries so severe, doctors prepared her family for worst. Her official death certificate prepared but never filed. Instead, it became foundation for most audacious undercover operation in recent history. Present day, FOB Chimera. Now that same tattoo has blown her cover to the man whose life she saved. Merrick's recognition changes everything. The careful balance maintained for 3 years about to shift dramatically. The invisible woman is invisible no longer.
Lieutenant Commander Royce Callahan approaches with calculated movement of predator studying prey. His steps measured, deliberate, eyes conducting systematic surveillance while projecting casual inspection. For 6 months, Nyrie has tracked his patterns, unusual access protocols, encrypted communications outside normal intelligence channels. Today, his interest in her work feels different, sharper. Technician Kesler, his voice carries polished authority. I don't believe we've been formally introduced. I'm coordinating intelligence for today's operation. Sir, she maintains appropriate deference, eyes lowered. Callahan studies her workstation like he's reading classified documents. I noticed your specialized ammunition configuration. Unusual for someone at your clearance level to make tactical decisions. The probe is unmistakable, testing whether her knowledge exceeds her supposed position. 3 years of invisibility maintained by never demonstrating capabilities beyond her station. The ammunition pattern might have been critical error, following terrain requirements from mission briefs. Her voice carries carefully calibrated uncertainty. Interesting. His tone suggests he doesn't believe her. I wasn't aware maintenance technicians received detailed tactical briefings. Before she can respond, Major Merrick appears with purposeful urgency. Commander Callahan, we need to discuss communication protocols before takeoff. Perfect timing, too perfect to be coincidental. As they walk away, Merrick casts subtle backward glance. Clear signal. Diversion intentional. Recognition earlier wasn't just shock. It carried respect, even deference. The flight line erupts into organized chaos. Pilots climbing into cockpits. Ground crews clearing tarmac. Apache engines spinning up, kicking desert dust into temporary storms. Nyrie steps back to safety distance, watching machines she helped prepare lift into harsh blue sky. As helicopters shrink against horizon, she moves toward mission control. The bunker hums with sophisticated technology, multiple screens displaying live feeds from gun cameras, thermal imaging tracking ground movement, communication equipment maintaining contact with aircraft throughout region. She positions herself at secondary workstation, monitoring technical readouts while remaining inconspicuous. Her true mission requires more than loading ammunition. For 3 years she's gathered intelligence on communication patterns, security breaches, information flow somehow reaching enemy forces. Today's mission provides final evidence needed to identify traitor selling American lives. Through peripheral vision, she notices Callahan studying displays with unusual intensity, his attention focused on communication frequencies and signal patterns revealing more than routine intelligence coordination. His behavior confirms her suspicion. He's not just observing mission, he's actively monitoring it for information that can be passed to hostile forces. The carefully constructed web of evidence she's built over 3 years is about to close around its target. But with Merrick now aware of her identity, and Callahan growing suspicious of her capabilities, delicate balance protecting her cover becomes increasingly unstable. Within hours, either her mission will be complete, or everything she's worked for will collapse in catastrophic exposure. She adjusts monitoring equipment, focusing on signal analysis that will either prove Callahan's guilt, or force her to dig deeper into conspiracy extending beyond one corrupt officer.
The invisible technician is about to become very visible. Her workstation displays electromagnetic signatures she's tracked for months. Same encryption patterns, same routing protocols, same frequency variations that preceded every compromised mission. The patient work of 1,094 days approaches its climax. Mission control bunker thrums with electronic precision as Apache gun cameras transmit live feeds from target zone. 4 attack helicopters approach. Haditha Dam sector. Movements synchronized like mechanical birds of prey. Officers monitor communications while intelligence analysts track thermal signatures on multiple screens. Nyrie positions herself at secondary workstation, her presence unnoticed among operational bustle. She monitors more than helicopter telemetry, transmission frequencies, signal pattern, electronic signature of betrayal she's tracked for months. Major Merrick's voice cuts through speaker static. Apache 1 approaching waypoint. Charlie, no visual on targets. Switching to thermal. Lieutenant Commander Callahan leans forward with anticipation that makes Nyrie's skin crawl. His intensity suggests more than routine oversight, like he's waiting for something specific. Intelligence suggests hostiles may be using Eastern Tunnel Network. Callahan's voice carries across bunker. Concentrate search there. Nyrie's eyes. Intelligence briefings she'd accessed mention nothing about Eastern tunnels. Thermal imaging shows more promising activity to west. She makes subtle adjustments to equipment, focusing on Callahan's communication source. Copy that. Merrick banks toward Eastern. Apache 2. Maintain overwatch. 3 and 4 continue perimeter sweep. For several minutes, mission proceeds smoothly. Professional focus, tracked movements, relayed intelligence. Then something changes. Slight distortion flickers across main screen. Digital interference rippling through Apache 1's video feed like electronic static. Communications officer adjusts controls. Apache 1. You're breaking up. Confirm position. Static fills channels. Then Merrick's voice suddenly tense. Something's wrong with targeting system. Getting inconsistent weapons guidance. More interference cuts across all channels simultaneously. Cascade failure affecting every aircraft in operational area. We're losing them. Communications officer announces. Fingers flying across console control. Main screen shows Apache 1 firing at coordinates that don't match assigned targets. Precision-guided munitions striking empty terrain. While actual hostile positions remain untouched, Apache 2 spins erratically. Stabilization systems compromised. Targeting systems are down. Someone shouts above growing chaos. All aircraft affected simultaneously. Panic erupts. Base personnel rushing to restore communications. Officers demanding explanations for systematic failure. In confusion, Nyrie quietly activates her concealed device, capturing and analyzing signal disruptions crippling American air operations. Her equipment isolates source immediately. Electromagnetic interference originating from within bunker, transmitted on frequencies matching patterns she's tracked for months. Signal carries encryption signatures identical to Callahan's unauthorized communications. Lieutenant Commander Callahan's voice rises above commotion, professional calm, replaced by calculated anger. He points directly at her workstation. Security, detain that woman immediately. His voice carries throughout bunker. She had access to all weapons systems during pre-flight. 2 military policemen move toward her, hands shifting toward sidearms as they respond to direct order from senior intelligence officer. She makes no attempt to resist, instead maintains surprised, frightened expression appropriate for low-level technicians suddenly accused of sabotage. Sir? Her voice injects confusion and fear with practiced skill. She was last person to access weapons systems. Callahan continues, accusation designed to focus suspicion away from himself. This is clearly sabotage. The trap is perfect. Pin blame on invisible maintenance tech while he continues selling American lives to highest bid, except for one problem. The invisible maintenance tech isn't who he thinks she is.
The bunker door explodes inward. Major Merrick stumbles through. Flight suit torn and bloodied from emergency landing. A jagged cut streams crimson down his face. He favors his right leg, but his eyes burn with combat intensity. Those eyes lock onto scene immediately. Nyrie surrounded by MPs while Callahan orchestrates her arrest. What the hell is happening? His voice commands instant attention despite obvious injuries. We have our saboteur, Callahan announces with cold satisfaction. Your maintenance tech compromised targeting system. Too convenient to be coincidence. Merrick crosses room in 3 determined strides, places himself between Nyrie and approaching security like human shield. Release her. Now. Major, this is security matter, Callahan begins, condescension dripping. I understand you're disoriented from crash, but I said release her. Merrick's voice drops to dangerous register that silences bunker. Or I contact CENTCOM directly and have them explain exactly who you're putting in handcuffs. MPs hesitate, confused by conflicting orders from senior officers. Callahan scoffs. She's level 2 maintenance tech, barely cleared to load basic ammunition. What happened to other Apaches? Nyrie asks quietly. Communications officer responds automatically. Emergency landings at fallback positions. Minor injuries reported. All crews accounted for. Merrick steps forward, standing straighter despite injuries. His voice carries absolute authority. No, she's not technician. The bunker holds its breath. She is Colonel Nyrie Kesler, former commander of classified Shade program, Medal of Honor recipient, and the woman who single-handedly extracted my entire unit from Yemen. Complete silence. Even electronic equipment seems to quiet. Nyrie's posture shifts subtly, becoming straighter, more commanding, though she neither confirms nor denies Merrick's revelation. That's absurd, Callahan finally manages. Colonel Kesler died in Yemen. Official records. Official records can be modified for operational security. Nyrie interrupts, her voice completely transformed. Gone is quiet deference. In its place, unmistakable command authority. Major Merrick is correct. Room remains frozen. Personnel struggling to reconcile unremarkable tech they've ignored with this revelation. Merrick continues, respect evident in every word. 4 years ago, my team was ambushed. Intelligence failure. They said we were surrounded, no extraction possible. Then she appeared, fought through enemy lines, took 3 bullets, got all 9 of us out. Nyrie steps forward, no longer playing invisible subordinate. I've been undercover 3 years tracking networks selling targeting data to insurgents. Today's operation provided confirmation. She turns to Callahan, whose face has drained of color. The jamming originated from within this bunker. Same signature as Yemen. Callahan lunges for exit, shoves aside junior officer in desperate escape attempt. His movement confirms guilt more than any evidence could. MPs react instantly, tackling him before he reaches door. As he's restrained, cursing and struggling, Nyrie walks calmly to her workstation. She kneels, removes hidden panel beneath her desk, reveals sophisticated surveillance equipment no maintenance tech should possess, pulls out external hard drive, holds it for room to see. 3 years of gathered intelligence, communications logs, financial transfers, meeting records. Callahan wasn't working alone. The revelation is complete, but mission's conclusion has just begun. Before they can continue, Brigadier General Aaron Westfield enters with bearing of someone briefed on impossible circumstances. His expression mixes confusion with growing concern as he surveys transformed scene. Explanations will be required immediately. His voice carries command authority. Reports filed. Communications sent to higher command. As senior officers gather for damage assessment, Nyrie excuses herself. In secure corner, she sends encrypted transmission to her actual commanding officer. First time in 3 years signing with real name and rank. Colonel Nyrie Kesler, Shade Program, Operation Long Watch complete. When she returns, personnel who ignored her for years now stand at attention. Their expressions reveal shock, embarrassment, newfound respect. At ease, she says quietly, we have work to do. Hours later, after extensive debriefings and preliminary Callahan interrogation, she finds herself in base medical, waiting while doctors treat Merrick's injuries. When he emerges, leg bandaged but walking steadily, he offers proper salute. They never taught us how to apologize to superior officer you've been unknowingly disrespecting for years. Rueful smile accompanies his words. No apology necessary, Major. You were supposed to disregard me. Her voice carries understanding. That was operational requirement. They walk toward officers' quarters,
setting sun casting long shadows across base that's been her prison and home. What happens now? Merrick asks. Callahan gets transported to secure facility for enhanced interrogation. His network will be systematically dismantled. She pauses. As for me, cover identity is compromised. Time to become Colonel Kesler again. Will rest of base be informed? Tomorrow morning, base commander called full assembly. After that reassignment, Merrick nods, understanding military assignment temporality must have been difficult. 3 years invisible, dismissed, knowing you could end it by revealing identity. Nyrie considers carefully, before responding. Mission required it. Personal comfort becomes irrelevant compared to operational success. They reach officers' quarters, place she hasn't entered during entire assignment. Get rest, Major. Tomorrow will be interesting. She turns to leave, but Merrick calls after her. Colonel, what made you suspect Callahan specifically? Must have been other candidates. Nyrie pauses, weighing classified disclosure limits. In Yemen, before ambush, I saw him. Wasn't supposed to be there according to official records, but I glimpsed him meeting with local assets. Her voice carries finality. I never forgot his face. With that revelation, she walks away, leaving Merrick with newfound understanding of patient, methodical justice. Pursued for 3 years. Morning light filters through base commander's office windows. Brigadier General Westfield stands before assembled senior officers. His expression grave. Beside him stands woman they thought they knew. Gone is nondescript maintenance tech in oil-stained fatigues. In her place, Colonel Kesler, in proper uniform with full rank insignia, hair arranged according to regulation rather than hastily tucked under worn cap. She stands straight but appears uncomfortable with attention. Residual habit from 3 years cultivating invisibility. Room buzzes with whispered conversations and sideways glances. Most officers had passed her daily, without second thought. Some had given dismissive orders, others never noticed her existence. General Westfield clears throat. Room falls silent. For 3 years Colonel Kesler has lived among us as ghost, sacrificing rank, recognition, basic dignity to complete mission none of us knew existed. Following Yemen incident, intelligence suggested high-level breach in communication protocols. General Westfield continues. Colonel Kesler volunteered to be officially declared KIA to pursue this threat. She integrated at lowest possible profile to monitor communications without detection. Captain Blackwood shifts uncomfortably, face flushing as he recalls every dismissive order barked at her, every additional task piled onto someone who outranked him by several grades. Her operation uncovered network of compromised channels endangering American lives for years. The general explains, admiration evident. Information gathered will continue saving lives long after we've left this region. Junior officer distributes sealed folders to senior staff. Need to know briefings on security implications. Study carefully. OPSEC remains at highest level. General Westfield turns to Nyrie. Colonel, the floor is yours. She steps forward. Room holds collective breath. For most present, first time hearing her speak with anything other than quiet deference. Thank you, General. Voice clear, authoritative. I'll keep this brief. The network Lieutenant Commander Callahan participated in specifically targeted forward bases, with access to sensitive regional intelligence. She activates display showing communication patterns, careful to include only cleared information. My maintenance position provided unrestricted airfield access and proximity to communications equipment without raising suspicion. Several officers avert eyes, recognizing culpability in treating support staff as invisible. Callahan is currently being transported to secure facility for enhanced interrogation. Preliminary questioning identified 3 additional contacts within regional command who will be detained within 24 hours. She pauses, scanning faces that had dismissed her for years. The network extends into private military contractors with access to targeting data and mission parameters. Her conclusion carries military precision. I want to commend Apache Squadron for professionalism during yesterday's incident. Despite compromised systems, all pilots executed emergency protocols flawlessly. As she steps back, General Westfield addresses room once more. Colonel Kesler departs FOB Chimera tomorrow for reassignment. Her cover is obviously compromised, but her work here has been invaluable. Briefing concludes with security reminders and dismissal protocols. As officers file out, many approach with awkward attempts at belated respect. She accepts each with professional grace, neither encouraging guilt nor dismissing it entirely. Two privates, who had mockingly called her General Nobody, approach with genuine salutes, faces burning with embarrassment but posture perfect. Colonel 1 begins, voice tight with tension. We want to apologize for our conduct. No excuse for disrespect to any person. Nyrie returns their salute with perfect form. Apology accepted. Privates, considerate lesson in why every person on base deserves respect, regardless of apparent rank. They nod gratefully, walking straighter than when they entered. General Westfield approaches once room empty. 3 years is longest deep cover assignment I've seen that didn't involve civilian integration. The network's complexity required patience. General, her response reflects tactical understanding. Rushing would have compromised entire operation. Westfield studies her with newfound appreciation. Your psychological evaluation noted exceptional tolerance for isolation, but this exceeded anyone's parameters. Command has authorized 2 months decompression leave before your next assignment. That won't be necessary, General. I prefer to remain active. It wasn't suggestion, Colonel. Westfield replies with hint of smile. Even ghosts need rest occasionally. After morning formalities, Nyrie spends the day completing documentation and transferring intelligence materials to secure channels. The base operates around her with strange new dynamic. Personnel, who ignored her for years now, hyper-aware of her presence. Major Merrick finds her in communications center late afternoon, methodically encrypting final findings. Permission to speak freely, Colonel. Granted. Major. Drop formality when we're not in official settings. I've been thinking about Yemen, he says, closing door behind him. You never told me how you knew where to find us. Our position was classified. Mission dark. Nyrie continues typing before responding. I was already in region tracking weapons shipments. When your team missed 2 scheduled communications, I intercepted chatter about American unit pinned down. You took 3 bullets pulling us out, Merrick says quietly. They told me you weren't expected to survive surgery, which created perfect opportunity to establish my death in official records. She responds pragmatically. It served the mission. Merrick shakes his head. Everything serves mission with you. For first time, Nyrie pauses her work, considering his observation with genuine reflection. Mission saves lives, Major. Personal comfort, recognition, relationships, all secondary to operational success. And after Chimera, what's next? That's classified. She responds automatically, then softens. Genuinely classified. I don't know yet. Network Callahan was part of, has branches requiring pursuit. Evening brings hastily arranged recognition ceremony in officers' mess. Unusual protocol, but General Westfield authorized it as appropriate under circumstance. Room fills with personnel from across base, all ranks assembled to properly acknowledge Colonel Kesler before departure. Major Merrick steps forward, presents her with actual insignia replacement for one supposedly buried after Yemen, then offers formal salute that spreads throughout room like wave of respect. Ceremony is brief but meaningful, providing closure for Nyrie and those who unknowingly disrespected superior officer. Following morning brings clear skies and mild temperatures, ideal for aircraft operation. Nyrie, now in proper uniform with full colonel rank, stands on airfield with single duffel bag. Her new orders are classified, destination known only to General Westfield and highest command levels. Major Merrick approaches as she awaits transport. So this is it. Back to land of living. Back to next mission. She corrects with ghost of smile. Work continues. How did you do it? 3 years invisible. Disrespected. I would have broken cover first week. Nyrie considers answer carefully, looking across airfield where she worked anonymously so long. Mission always matters more than recognition. Sometimes most important work happens in shadows. Sound of approaching transport draws attention skyward. As aircraft descends, entire squadron lines runway in formation, offering final salute to woman they never truly knew. Inside plane she takes window seat, watching FOB Chimera recede below, as they climb into clear sky. For 3 years, she'd memorized every detail, learned every pattern, all while remaining invisible. Mission complete, network exposed, justice in motion. Yet as base disappears beneath clouds, Her thoughts already turn to next operation, next cover identity, next mission where lives hang in balance. Recognition isn't why she serves. She serves so others can sleep peacefully, never knowing battles fought on their behalf. The invisible woman becomes invisible once more, carrying her secrets into whatever shadows await.